Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 212 of the Civil Gore podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And it took us 6 years, but we have a first, Tim, in Civil Gore history, technically, because we're doing our feature film is actually a fan film that we've decided. We've had fan film creators on the show, but we've never actually featured the film, because usually a lot of times we have them on prior to the film actually being released, and it's kind of in production. So
Right,
this is kind of cool that we actually have a fan film, not only to be the feature movie, but we also have a whole bunch of people that worked on and created this film on, which and that's of course Roseblood, a Friday the 13th fan film. And let me tell you, you'll hear us talk about it, and you'll hear us talk about on the interview. But this, as far as fan films go, this one is like top billing, I think. I mean, this was just a fantastic thing, and I can't wait to discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, and we've watched a lot of Friday the 13th fan films, and we probably watch every one that comes out.
Oh, yeah, I literally have watched. Anytime one pops up, I watched it. And this one was funny because this one was on my radar, but I kind of then like lost since it's like I think I got it confused at one point with another one. And so like when it came out, I was like, oh my God, that's right. I forgot about this one. This is the one with that actually got Laura Park Lincoln and Terry Kaiser and a whole bunch of new people, which we got to talk to that you'll hear. And I was like, oh, I got to watch this. I watched that first night. And remember, I talked about it on the show, how much I like absolutely loved it. And I told Tim that next morning, I'm like, oh my God, you got to watch this. This is great. So this will be, I think, fun to talk to. We'll try and avoid spoilers as much as possible because there are some great surprises in this. And so we'll try and keep that, any kind of spoilers to a minimum.
Yeah. The interview, we tried to keep that spoiler free as well, so you guys can listen to the interview and not be afraid. I mean, we talk about a few of the kills and stuff, but nothing plot-wise. I mean,
if you don't know there's kills in a Friday the 13th movie, then you haven't watched one.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's first get to our first chop. All right, Brian, so I forgot to stick it here on the rundown, but I watched the fantastic horror documentary. Now I got to look up the name because I got it wrong
like
on
The Witch in the Woods.
Yeah, I got it wrong on Twitter twice and had to delete my tweet and redo it.
Oh no!
Woodlands, Dark, and Days Bewitched: A History of Folk Horror. This is, of course, that documentary that's being released in that fantastic box set that we talked about last week in our dismemberment for January. Brian, I kind of was hoping this documentary would be terrible so that I wasn't more tempted by that box set than I was, and I was completely blown away by this documentary.
Wait, did you hear that, Tim? That was your wallet opening up.
Yeah, it really opened my wallet because this is a fantastic documentary. And I don't say that just because the subject matter interested me and I enjoyed it. And you can read other critics' reviews of this if you don't want to take my word for it. It's just a very, very well produced documentary. And I watch a lot of documentaries, and some are better than others. But this one, like, everything about it is just beautifully done. Beautifully done. That's the best word I can describe it.
It's those Severin films they do. Because remember the Al Adamson one was so good. We're kicking ourselves for not ordering that set.
So this one was directed by Kayla Janice. Her first name is spelled Kier-LA. So I had to look up how to pronounce that. But she is also the author of that fantastic horror book I've talked about before, The House of Psychotic Women, which is
that's right.
Which is all about the giallo films and the women, and she talks all about her life in that book, and it's just an incredibly dense but very well done book. And then when I saw that she had directed this, I knew we were in for a treat. And it is just the thing about it, Brian, is every film clip. Obviously, they have lots of film clips from folk horror in this movie. Every film clip looks like they took the best master of that film to put in this documentary. Like, everything looks really good. Every scene, you can tell, was chosen with care. I mean, for the most impact, for what the voiceover is saying. I mean, just exquisite. I don't say this about documentaries a lot. I don't really gush about documentaries a lot. I watch.
In fact, I don't think I've ever heard you ever use the word exquisite.
I know, it's like a $5 word. I just pulled it right out of my
Look
pocket.
at that. Like, and in dulcet tones, no less. So that even adds the bigger impact to it.
Yeah, but it's, and again, I'm a little biased because I love a lot of this folk horror, especially when you watch the first part of the documentary. They go into a lot about British 70s horror, which is right up my alley. I love that whole genre, and I love that whole time period. So a lot of it, I am a little biased in that respect, but just the way they're talking, and then they cut to just like the perfect scene. It reminded me of that horror book I always talk about, that hardcover book I had when I was a kid that showed all the movie stills, and I would just flip through and just look at these beautiful stills from all these horror movies. Well, imagine that in a documentary, but instead of seeing a movie still put up on the screen, you're seeing the actual clip from the film, and it looks gorgeous, and it fits exactly with what the narrator's saying. It's just edited beautifully. It's produced beautifully. I loved everything about this documentary. It's and the list of movies you're going to want to see after you see this, go ahead and get you a scratch paper or get you a spreadsheet up or something so that you can start typing these in, because there's so many films in here, a lot that I had seen, but a lot that I had never seen, and I really, really want to track down. So this one's on Shudder right now. I'm going to tell you, we always talk about Shudder, how great it is, blah, 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 blah. This is, just go ahead and sign up for a month just to watch this documentary, and you'll get every penny's worth, guaranteed. It's like a 3-hour plus documentary. It's fantastic. I actually tweeted out today that I just thought it was beautiful. So can't recommend it enough. Now, keep in mind, Shudder did, like we mentioned on our dismemberment, Shudder has put a lot of the films from that set on their site. They dumped a ton of folk horror, so you can see a lot of these. Not all of them, but you can see a lot of them on Shudder right now, and along with that documentary. So I'm definitely going to start diving into these.
So I finally watched, I got to watch The Lady in the Cage, and that is as glorious as you would imagine from that trailer. It was such crazy. I don't even want to say too much, Tim, because I want you to eventually see it. Yeah. I don't want to take any of the really funny. I mean, I know I gave you a couple of tidbits in the beginning of it, but and it's funny. Like every kind of thing I started to make a joke about ended up being some kind of weird plot point to it. So it's like they don't really like throw out weird things for the sake of weird in it, but it's a young. I didn't realize it was a young James Caan was the main guy in that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so and he's got this like almost like sod of chest hair on it. That's like that like really like tightly coiffed chest hair that like seems like it was painted on. That's what he's got going through this movie. And Olivia de Havilland is as amazing as you would expect in there, and like they reminded me a lot of a Twilight Zone. There's a lot of inner monologue that goes in her head, but it's like it's as if she was yelling it and like out, So it's like it's so great. It's like she does such a good job of portraying someone like, and it's funny because she really goes from like calm to off the rails as fast as I would probably in that situation. Like as soon as I realized, oh shoot, I'm strapped in this elevator and I can't get out, I'd go from like, someone will come by all of a sudden to like, like shaking it. And so, but yeah, really enjoyable movie. Definitely loved it. So I thank you again, Tim. I'm glad it's on the monolith, and look how fast it was watched too. So that
I
says
know.
something.
I was hoping it would be just weird enough to intrigue you to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Quickly.
No, I was like, that was like number one, like on my list to watch out of what I got. And then of course I watched, we got to watch the finale, Julie and I watched the finale of Dexter. We were a day later on it because we just had too many things to do. We were one behind, so we got to watch it. And it's been a lot of people online have been mixed on the review of it. But like I always said, Julie and I had this discussion today. I think finales are got to be the toughest episode to create, because I mean, yeah, some might say, well, it's the first one because you got to get people drawn in, but I think you if you only give the show one episode of something, then you're not really giving it its fair shot. Here's the problem with the finale, especially if you've been invested in a show for a long time, right? And now it's ending. You kind of, you have to kind of psychologically come to grips with that the show is ending, and you may not want to let it go as fast as the creators are, so there's always that element to it, I think, that plays into, because a lot of people were saying they felt the ending was rushed. Without giving a spoiler for those who haven't seen it, and I know you haven't seen it yet, Tim, I think part of it, to me, and Julie agreed, actually, we were talking about this, is that it was the Michael C. Hall's performance was very like what was going on with Dexter was very frenetic in the last episode, and I think that kind of led to people feeling that it was rushed. I don't think it was rushed. I think I thought the ending was actually perfect for the way the season was building up. I thought it was kind of obvious, and it had a very good character-driven, poetic ending, I thought, to it. So fans of Dexter, boy, this was a great season. This might have been, we came on late, and Julian and I kind of like binged it all. We didn't watch it through as the seasons came by. I think we watched it all like about a year and a half ago. I think we watched all of it kind of in a row. And I may have even missed some episodes in there, but, not enough to, like, lose any kind of thing to it. But this is definitely one of my favorite seasons that I saw. I thought it was that good. I thought the new characters they added to it were great. Some of the returning ones were great, as always. I mean, Clancy Brown, come on. You add him to anything, it's like gold,
Yeah, I've heard enough good things about this season. I'm really considering going back and just binging all 8 of the previous seasons.
Yeah, I think I want to do it anyway. I think I want to rewatch everything again and just to see it all again. But yeah, I think this season did a great job of bringing back some of the stuff you loved about the show. So, and then the new characters are just fantastic in it. So
nice. Well, let's get right into our interview with the cast and crew and writer and director.
We got across the gamut of people that
everybody
participate, including one of the guys that like literally we were told did everything.
Yeah, he did everything. This was, of course, our interview with some personalities from Roseblood, a Friday the 13th fan film, which Brian and I both really enjoyed. We'll talk about that film after this interview. Fan films are always going to be a labor of passion because they're not making money, they're losing money. But it's really, really fun when you get one that these people are like diehard fans. Those are always the best because you see so many, as we'll talk about in the interview, Easter eggs and details and stuff that the casual viewer is not going to pick up on.
And you'll hear me like find one. Like apparently you'll hear in the interview I found one that they would like said was the hardest one to find, even though I didn't get it quite perfectly. I just knew it was something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite sure where it was, but they said so I got a half a point basically.
Nice. Yeah. So guys, please enjoy this interview with the cast and crew of Roseblood. All right, guys. So today I watched a fantastic Friday the 13th fan film, Roseblood, and we are super excited tonight to have a great collection of folks who made this film possible. So please welcome to the show writer, director, and star Peter Anthony, Amos Effects team members Mathew and Jeremy Amos, and Brent Edgett, and cast members, we're going to call him Q, Joseph Caban, and Jessica Hottman. So we do want to get to all of you guys individually, but first, Peter, can you tell us a little bit about your filmmaking background and how this project came about?
Filmmaking background, nothing.
Nice. Hey, that's great.
I tell this story and the joke all the time. I still don't know how to turn on the camera, so I don't know how to do the sound. I don't know I did work on some films behind the scenes a little bit there for a couple of days, but I mean, training and formal, no. The long story short, I'm a humongous Friday the 13th fan. I started getting involved with various fan films and then do marketing. From marketing, it kind of went to small roles. From small roles to a little bigger role, like in Fall of Camp Blood. And then all of a sudden, one day, I had this stupid idea that let's make my own movie.
Nice. So I have to ask this one. So when you came up with the idea for this, obviously being a big Friday the 13th fan, you probably had a million ideas. So, but did you always what was the process you came up with this idea? Did you kind of always envision it to be a direct sequel to A New Blood?
I didn't know how it was going to be or what was going to happen. I wanted to do part 7. The reason why I love part 7, it's one of my favorite ever. I'm decent friends with Kane Hodder. Laura Park Lincoln, I had a crush on when I was young. So when you go, you're a writer and director, part 7, you find what movie was missing? Well, 4 was perfect. 6 was good. Vengeance did 6 already. Fall Camp Blood did 4. The other films like Never Hike Alone, they all did their own kind of universe thing, Voorhees and Jason Rising. So I was like, what was missing? And I was like, well, 7, everybody wanted to know what happened to Tina and Nick, and you never got that. So, and then the kills got robbed. So I was like, fuck it. If I'm gonna do it, let's do 7. And then, like I said, I just got like a little kid in a candy store. Well, where could it be? Well, Camp Crystal Lake from Jason X is on the water. Let's do that. Who else would you want? Well, the Duke was cool and Jason Goes to Hell. Let's give him his backstory. And it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, no, that's so cool, because I think one of the things I noticed the most is that, like, you took elements from the more unique, more original Friday films, if you think about it, because there's definitely, you see Jason X in there. And of course that was unique because, the space aspect. Then you have part 7 that introduced a real, like, supernatural-esque protagonist now, in there. And then you also took some from Jason Goes to Hell, which was a really different style of Friday the 13th film, and you took one of the coolest characters and brought them back too. So I thought that's what I loved about this so much. I saw it first, like I watched it the day you guys released it, and I told Tim, I'm like, Tim, you got to see this. This is like, this is by far one of the coolest fan films you'll see for this, because it takes so many of the cool, underrepresented Friday the 13th somehow, and put that into all connected into one film. And I thought that was so cool, because who would have ever thought you'd get like a Duke backstory and a Tina continuation story, in the same movie? And you did that great.
There's a reference to part 8, which I don't know if you guys know, with the big Easter egg when the Duke calls home to his wife. Did you guys catch that one?
Oh, I thought I caught them all. I don't think I caught that one.
I don't think I caught that one either.
Oh, you didn't catch them all because there's like 500 of them.
Oh.
But when the Duke calls home, he says, "Where's my boy?" And she goes, "Oh, he's just boxing." Oh, boxing again. His son is Julius from part 8.
Oh, wow. I did not catch that at all. I know there's some in there that I caught, but I didn't know what the reference quite was. I could just tell it was like a wink, wink, nada. I mean, I definitely caught all the references to like the props from part 7 in there, like I saw the horn and the magic 8-ball and all that stuff, and I caught that right away. I'm like that. I'm always like eagle-eyed for that stuff, but wow, I did not catch that one. So now that is actually that kind of one of our questions that kind of adds into that a little bit when we get to it later. For Q, one of his questions. No, sorry, actually, it's not Q's question. It's a question for Joseph that kind of mixes in with that a little bit. But anyway, I'll let Tim go now because I cut him off.
No, you're fine. So yeah, this one actually kind of leads right into my next question, which was for both Jessica and Q. And Jessica, you can go first if you want, but you of course played young Tina Shepard. What was it like to take on the role of a fan favorite, kind of iconic character? And same for you, Q, because you played the Duke, which we haven't had a backstory for. So was that make it easier in some ways, or is it more challenging to play somebody that the fans are kind of already well versed in?
Yeah, well, for me personally, it was pretty intimidating. I am very new into the world of acting, and I didn't have a lot of experience just being in front of a camera at this capacity. So not only was there that element, but then coming in and trying to portray a role that's already had, someone come in and set this amazing precedence for all these years, and everybody loves Tina, and trying to carry that and respect that was definitely daunting, but it was so much fun once I was in it. Once I saw the character of Tina, I watched the original film and I got the chance to talk with Lar and just pick her brain. It was just amazing. I just felt like I sort of became a piece of Tina, and I still have a piece of her with me.
Very nice. Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
I would never dreamed you not had much experience in front of the camera.
Yeah, I would never think that.
And same question for you, Q. How was it playing the Duke?
Yeah, playing the Duke. Well, first of all, I'm a huge Friday 13th fan myself, so I don't want to let the fans down first and foremost, and I got to figure out a way to be cool. You know what I'm saying? I got to be cool, confident, genius. So with my acting coach that Peter Anthony got, because I didn't have a lot of experience in front of the camera on this capacity in so many lines. So she had me watch a bunch of basically narcissistic assholes. So I watched a bunch of Tony Stark. I watch Alonzo Mourning from Training Day, things like that to get into character. Of course, I watch Sean Williams over and over again, and Jason Goes to Hell. So I just wanted to be is calm and cool, is collective, and and bring the Duke to life and be that snarky, one step ahead of everybody like that. So it was a blast. I couldn't even believe I'm playing the Duke because he's one of the coolest characters in the Friday the 13th franchise, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? That really never got a backstory. So when I got it, when Pete gave me a chance to do it, it's like, heck yeah, dude! Like, and I just didn't want to let him down too at the same time. So it was awesome. It was literally one of my dreams come true, and the fans' reception was pretty warm. So I was like, thank you, because I didn't want to mess this up. So yeah, it was a blast playing the Duke. He's a great character for sure, and Pete got the costume down to the needle. So.
Yeah, and you had, I mean, you nailed him perfectly. I thought too. You had like his mannerisms down and everything, and the way, like his inflections, the way he spoke, you had that down too. And I was like, wow, this is pretty solid. Of like this is a perfect like prequel to the Duke story on top of everything else going on. So that was cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was fun.
So speaking of, this is kind of related to the Duke, but this is a question for Joseph actually. So. You played the character Julian, which I thought was a really enjoyable addition. It kind of, I don't know if this was any kind of like an homage, but kind of reminded me of the in Halloween, the Rob Zombie one.
Yes, that's how I wrote it.
Yeah, was it? It's because it.
Machete.
Yes, yeah, that's totally reminded me of Danny Trejo's 100%. Character, like this really like good-hearted like custodial guy, but he has like so much more to him that you do, and that's what I kind of got out of that. But what I thought was great is that. I mean, not knowing the little Easter egg that I missed, but what I thought was so cool about Julian adding to the lore is that now, right there, that's like the, you could see the origin of why the Duke now is like, I'm getting this guy, I'm going after Jason. And then now to find out that there was a little Easter egg that his also son is a victim. I thought that was pretty cool how you really like now see those. So basically what I was going to, what I wanted to ask was so how did you feel about like playing that kind of a character, knowing that you could kind of like add to this backstory if you go through this timeline now?
Well, so it was it was a little nerve-wracking because you have someone that you're playing or that Pete wanted. He had a vision of this character, and it was like I'm trying to remember. Pete was like, he's kind of like Machete and Halloween, but he's got like this Steven Seagal like weird vibe going. But then when you watch me in the movie, like I'm in the corner smiling and whistling like the whole movie until our scene. So I mean, it was really hard, like really getting it down to exactly what Pete wanted. And it was probably also hard because I'm friends with him, so like hearing someone tell you, oh, be more like this or be more like that, you really don't want to let them down.
Well, yeah, he was such a pleasant character too. It's like he's like, even though it's like you're introduced to him for the first time, you kind of feel like, oh, I kind of know someone like this guy. He's just a good-hearted guy that's like, like wanting to, like there was this like almost feeling that you were like trying to make sure that even though you in the role you were definitely a custodian in there, but you had this bigger role, like you were kind of protecting people in there, and so I thought it was a great character.
No, thank you. Peter wrote a really good character for me to play.
Well, guys, let's turn our attention towards the special effects because they were pretty outstanding for a fan film, I would have to say. So this question is for Mathew, Jeremy, and Brent. I just kind of want to hear some of your thoughts on the effects and the kills and kind of the concepts you came up with, and especially the Jason character design, which Brian told me after he watched the film. He said this is one of the best fan film Jasons I've seen, like as in terms of design and the way he acted and everything. So what can you guys tell us about how you came up with this stuff?
Well, we didn't have anything to do with the actual design of Jason, and the character played by Jason Brooks. He just did a fantastic job. You're gonna have to ask Peter who it was that got the costume design.
Marcio Charlie from Brazil, from Horror Costumes.
Horror Costume Studios. Yep.
And he did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, but you got, the effects in this were really phenomenal. On top of that, though, it's like, you had some solid kills in this. Like I love the one where they ripped, Joseph, but your face, when the face got ripped off.
Off.
It was actually a pretty epic kill, And now you got to remember too, you're doing a sequel in this to one of to the movie that had one of the most probably famous kills with the sleeping bag. So you kind of had to like subconsciously top that, I think. And I think you did.
Well, it was definitely nervous going into it when Peter pitched all the ideas for the different kills. I got extremely excited about them because bringing the gore, that's what we like to do. Like Joe's face being peeled off, that was we did that all on the spot. We molded his face, made the replica and everything right there on spot. The collaboration of everybody together, it was fantastic.
Yeah, there was one effect that was probably your easiest one to do, but I thought it was one of the most effective ones where when I guess Rose is in the room and Tina's outside and she can't get in and just the knife comes through and then the blood comes under the door. I was like, that's really effective. That's pretty cool. And it was probably their easiest effect all day. And I'm going to compliment them on it, but it was great.
Hey, well, I think there was 3 or 4 of us inside the room to get the blood to spill out perfectly the way that it did. I think you were in there with us, weren't you, Brent?
Yeah, on a separate take, I actually we had a hole in the door that they covered up with some effects, but it was all preset to where Jessica would put her head up against the door, and then it was it was like a 1, 2, 3 action, and I would take I'd bloody up the knife, I'd shove it through that hole in the door and pull it back, and we did that a few different times. And then, yeah, we went back through with the actual tank to do the blood spray on the floor to actually have it coming out the door. So, yeah, that was a whole fun sequence.
And that was so cool. And I'm not going to spoil what's really behind that door for people who haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil that. But the fact that what I thought was, especially when you find out later what was really going on in there, it makes it even more epic. But and another thing we should tell our listeners, because we found out just before we started the interview, like Brent actually just didn't do that. He did like everything on there, we were told. So basically he's done like any aspect to this movie, I guess he had part of, right?
Yeah.
Brent was all over the place.
If you're not doing spoilers, remember the thing that happened at the end, the big reveal?
Yes.
That's Brent.
Oh, that's right. Tim, I think, told me that. Yeah, we won't. Yeah. I don't want to spoil. I mean, I want to spoil it, but we're not going to because it's still new, and I don't want people to lose that feeling that we got when we saw it. So
no, the best part is though, I mean, it really is me on the other side of that door stabbing the knife through the door. Right. And so it's like it is me and it's my character me. It's like, so it really was me doing that. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That was my kill of the movie.
Yeah. So everyone has to see this right away so we can talk about it. You can talk to us on social media and we'll tell you what we meant.
Yeah.
Hey, back to the Amos brothers, Amos effects. They're kind of being humble because I sat in this room and wrote up like kills, like I was a maniac on cocaine. So we were coming up with kills, and we would have FaceTimes, and every time I would tell them, "Man, can you do this? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this, this, and that." And they're like, "We can do it. We can do it." and then when we get on set, the one with the MP's hand, right? So I'm just telling them what I think I want it to, but I don't know how it's going to work. And then everyone's running around like, "Hey, you got a minute?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He takes out the fucking wooden hand with the strings and the puppetry and the bones. He's like, "Check this out." I'm like, "Holy shit." So those guys, like every day they were creating and making, including the guts from Sanchez. Every day they were doing something for a kill. It was great.
Yeah, it's like anytime anything else is being filmed, we were in our own little spot just making gore.
That's gonna be so much fun, especially because obviously Friday the 13th, it's all about, a lot of it's about the kills. I mean, of course, great story on the side of it is adds to it, but the kills have got to be so great. And I know not because a friend of mine, when we were in college, we had wrote it's funny, we, like you, Peter, we had dreamed, we were big Friday the 13th, we were like, oh, we're kind of going to film school now, let's just let's make a Friday the 13th one just for fun, like a student film version of Friday the 13th. And we came up with all these amazing things, but we realized that it was it definitely played out more of a comedy. So we have this full script that never went anywhere, but I thought our kills were awesome because they just turned out to be fun.
Going into like a Friday movie, you get nervous because you're like, if you don't satisfy the fans, then you're going to hear a whole bunch of gripe about it.
Oh yeah, because you need that, and I mean, I know, granted, with not having the theatrical experience all the time these days with, I mean, just not because of any other film, just, with COVID, you kind of like, I remember seeing, when I saw you Friday the 13th movie in the theater, the screams and the cheers, of like when someone gets it and stuff. Yeah. So I liked that you guys, I wish I was there. I wasn't able to participate. I wish I was there for your live, stream of it where everyone was commenting on it, but I did watch the replay of it, and so I could see all the things, but I wish I was there live because you kind of got that feel with it, but digitally, I guess.
Oh, at the premiere in Connecticut, that was like an unreal feeling, just hearing everybody's cheers for your work as it was being seen. It was awesome.
Yeah, nice. Every single kill, people were screaming, and we were just like, "Oh man, we did that! Cool, it's cool."
That's the other thing is the fact that the movie is really story driven and character driven, and you don't get Jason till like the last 20 minutes. You had to make him over the top badass. If we don't put Jason in to the last 20 minutes, he just comes in, stumbles around, and acts like an idiot, like Freddy versus Jason. It's not going to work. So we had to just go balls to the walls. And I think they did a phenomenal job at doing that.
And that's I think a
Thank
really
you, man.
good. Yeah, no, and that's a strength I want to say about this movie that I thought was funny. Normally, like I've seen criticisms of other either not even just fan films, but other films of a franchise when they say, I can't believe it. You didn't even like, there was one, some other thing where I said, oh, you didn't even see him until like 45 minutes in. Here, you went almost over an hour in and it didn't feel like it didn't create any lacking for that movie. Cause the script was, I thought good. It was so engaging enough that you were into it. And then when Jason came in, like you said, like all over the place, it's like that's what you remember. Like you remember it together. You did like until I saw a review. After I saw it, I didn't even realize he wasn't in it for that long. I thought it worked so good. So
that's a great compliment. So thank you. Yeah, and then some people even said that they forgot about the wraparound. So when the event happens with Rose and Tina at the end, and then it kicks back to Laura, you're like, holy shit, I forgot about that whole aspect.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is the perfect comment to go into our next question I had, because I was going to say, what was it like to get, especially the opening scene where you got Lar and Terry Kaiser back, because the chemistry that they had, it's like they didn't miss a beat. I thought that was incredible. I mean, Terry Kaiser went like even off the wall crazier than he was. And I thought it was like, what a way to start that movie, like to continue it. I was like, you had me right there, right when it was over. Right. I mean, right when it started, I was like, that's it. I'm in.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I said, my weaknesses, I don't know how to turn on a camera. I don't know how to do sound. I didn't go to school. I think if you ask everybody, hopefully, that my strength is I listen to people and I let them do what they want to do. And back to the point with Joe Caban with Julian, Joe's right. I did want him to be kind of like a Steven Seagal, but then as the movie progressed, Joe's such a lovable guy that I'm like, dude, we're going to go that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let him play it out that way, because everybody seemed to love him. I mean, when that scene happened with him with his face, you see the audience, no, like they cared about him. Back to the Lar and Terry thing, and they can all tell you, I think Joe was there and Jessica was there and everything. I mean, that was just amazing. And Terry Kaiser, the guy's 82 years old then. You want to talk about hitting it out of the park. He came up to me and he's like, Peter, when he yells that time, Tina, that was totally his idea. And once I said yes to that, he changed the whole script. Like, he didn't change the verbiage, but he changed his approach. He walks in calm. You see him, right? Walk around. That's all him. And then he's like, so what do you got there, Tina? And then it goes to, oh my, he's taunting her. And then into rage and anger, leaning over the table. I mean, we were like sitting there like, holy shit, this is a different level than we're used to seeing. So it was like a dream come true.
Yeah, no, I mean, because rarely a fan film continuation of something could fit so well, I think, into that timeline. Like, I kind of want that to be, as far as I'm concerned, basically it's in the official canon. That's my storyline from part 7. So whatever anyone officially says, I don't care. Tim and I, we're putting it down right now as that part of our official canon.
Remind me to tell me you guys your birthdays. You get presents every year.
To add, I want to add a little more to the Lar and Terry thing. I was on wardrobe department on the day they came in. I was in the I was in the room steaming costumes, and they were in the room, they were in the other side of the room doing the makeup. And while they were getting makeup done, they were rehearsing their roles. And I'm just sitting in there steaming, and I'm hearing them behind me. And as a Friday 13th fan, I was just about to shit. Like, I was like, dude, they are great. They stepped right back into these characters. And I was like, oh my God, they are right behind me doing this. Yeah, I was approaching it as a professional thing, but when I heard them, I was like, dude, no freaking way. Like, absolutely no way. And the way they edited it together and the opening sequence of the movie was just absolutely amazing. Like you said, I was just sold from that few moments. It was just like, wow, this is great. It's great to see them on screen together.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're you could not have asked for a more epic opening for this continuation like that, to get the original cast back for that like that. Oh my God.
Well, guys, we always like to ask this question, especially when we have a lot of people involved in the film, and that's just kind of open to anybody. But were there any fun stories from the set or any disasters on the set that you want to talk about?
It was so fast. There was so much happening in such a small amount of time. It's like, well, hang on. Was it really disaster? The whole thing kind of felt like a disaster as it was happening. It's just like everything going on. But at the end, it was like, okay, no, we got it. But it had to run smooth to an extent. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked out. Like, yeah, we went and got some underwater shots while A unit was inside doing stuff. We were just all over, and there was nothing that really held us back from doing what we needed to do. Otherwise, this never would have happened. We never would have gotten this lucky.
How long was your shoot?
8 days.
8 days.
Whoa,
Nice.
8 days? You got all that? Oh my God. This film's getting more impressive as we hear about it.
They shot for 22 hours straight, right? 22 hours straight. Then you guys
that last day.
That last day, yeah.
That was the day we were all there.
21 hours.
And I gotta say, at the end, there was a lot of smoke in the room too. I won't give anything away, but just there was a lot of smoke and ambience. So it was very trippy being on like hour 20 and the whole room is smoky, and you're like, I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. Like, let's do this. And I think everybody just sort of came together like a family, and we're like, we're all in. We're doing this. Let's go. It was so much fun. And like you said, Brent, it was a little bit of a blur, but like just a lot of good moments rolled together.
I have to say too, I like the way, definitely like the way you had resurrected Jason in this version than what they did in Jason Goes Takes Manhattan, where he gets electrocuted, he comes up. I like this, how you had the Tina's father hand holding still his leg, and then just having it let go like that, like it couldn't hold on anymore. I thought that was such a good touch, and it probably is like something that a lot of people just like didn't register with, like maybe, but to me it totally registered, because I love the fact that like such a small detail that had such an impact on it. I thought that was great.
Thanks. As far as fun on the set, I know Jequient and Caban, they got a ton of more funny stories if they want to tell something.
Oh yeah, Caban. I think we were on probably like hour 13 or 14. Dead tired. Caban was doing it all too. He used to photograph. He was photographing everything with 2 cameras, doing a great job, dude. And then we're doing everything too. I'm helping Brent with mattresses, bringing it from set to set. Doing everything. I can, helping Peter with anything he needed. Like so we're like, we're going to try to catch a quick nap on these cots over here. And the cots were with the fast team in the movie. You probably see them. It's not a spoiler. But but we're literally trying to catch a nap on these cots. And it has like M16 and broken glass everywhere, and bullets and blood. And I'm just trying to catch a quick nap. And then we were sitting there. Then Caban, his little thing just completely collapsed to the ground. That while they was doing the take, saying we were so tired though, but we rubbed it off and kept going though. But I just thought that was funny. Like we're sleeping on M16s for pillows, and then like the whole thing collapsed, and then we still keep going.
Yeah, we had there was a lot of runs to Jack in the Box at what, like,
oh yeah,
morning.
Buttery Jack.
Oh, I missed that. I was just in California and I had to go because I lived in California for one point, and in New York has no more Jack in the Boxes, so that's always a stop I have to make when I go there. You just reminded me. That was great. So I guess too, one of the things that we found out, we didn't realize though, that great song you hear at the end was actually performed by Jessica. So, and I guess Peter, you guys have said you guys are going to film a music video coming up, right?
Yeah, man. Jessica knows I had a FaceTime with her about it, so it's going to be like pretty awesome. So like things that are in the movie, including large crossword puzzle, to give you a little hint, and a lot of the items that revolve around Tina and Lar and Rose will kind of be meshed into one, and it's going to be very cinematic, where very colorful, very bright. I don't want to give too much away. A lot of blood, a lot of roses, a lot of different outfits, different locations, different things going on. So I got it. I'm like a go big or go home kind of guy. So that's where. And the great thing is the Amos brothers. They actually got the perks to be the new killers in the movie. So they're going to come up. Jessica is coming up.
Nice.
Joe Caban's coming up. Brent's coming up. Me, Cody, Jason Brooks, Sanaya, Sean, we're all going to kind of like reunite for this. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. I feel horrible because I must have just missed the IndieGoGo for this. I would have loved to contribute on this.
There's one right now.
Oh, it's still going? There's still, oh, good. Then that was one of the next things I was going to ask you guys. So you can still contribute basically, right? For this?
Yeah, we put a perk up today that sold in 30 seconds. So, which is the green book from Dr. Cruz when they open up the drawer in part 7 and they get the gun in the book. So that sold with a bunch of other stuff today. But yeah, we have the Blu-rays on there. The Manifest edition will have Jessica's music video on it. So there's a lot still on there. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, because I definitely want to do. I'm as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big Blu-ray collector. So like any perk that involves like, and you get the Blu-ray with it, it's pretty much like, dangling like a candy to a little child, like, hey, come here. And then Tim will tell you. Yeah, so I would okay, I'm gonna send me the link on that because I want to jump on there and I want to get the manifest. I always have to you put special edition or like use a manifest. All you have to do is say something edition.
Special one.
Limited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brands all over.
Any kind of buzzword in front of edition, you got me. I'm not.
Yeah, we're definitely flying when we come back out this time, Peter. We can't do a 3,000-mile trip in both directions again.
Good.
Oh wow, you got. Where did you guys film it? You filmed it at
Seattle,
Washington.
Oh,
just out of Seattle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my brother lives there. He lives in Bothell. Not sure where that is compared to the city, but
Bothell. That's right next to where we shot in Woodinville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Drive right next to it.
Jason Brooks lives in Bothell.
Oh, okay, cool. I gotta let him know that because he's a big horror fan too. So he would have probably he would have liked to know that. I'll have to let him know. So I guess just to wrap things up, is there any? I mean, you kind of answered it, but is there anyone I want to share like any more upcoming things? If you want to share maybe a little bit more about the IndieGoGo or what people can expect. If I know, I guess it's kind of but I mean, anyone that knows Friday the 13th knows that there's always a sequel. So I know there's a tease for a sequel. So is that kind of in the works now, or?
So I'll go first and I'll let everyone talk about their projects. I would love to hear about everyone else. I'm gonna do it's there. I actually spoke with Laura earlier. It's there. I have the whole idea. I'll give you a little insight. The idea would be to take place right after that last scene, the last scene of Rose, Tina, and Jason, where they're looking at each other. Tina's screaming no, because the Duke is still alive. He's in another room, and pick up from there and have it be the opposite, where it'd be Nick and Lar flashing the other way in present day. So that would be the story. And there's a lot more that I can't give away, but that would be it. But I'm going to do some original content of my own. So I'm going to write my own movie, try to make a run at like an Amazon film and actually try to make money instead of lose money. And then if that goes well, revisit.
Nice. Well, of course, any like this goes for everyone that's going to say that, any you guys want to, need us to help promote a project. We're of course happy to just send us a word and we'll make sure we mention it.
Everything for us has pretty much been in hiatus because of the COVID and now wintertime. Nobody really films too much in the winter.
What about Jessica? Do you have any video game tournaments? Or well, technically, we found that Brent really did the video game playing. So I guess right.
Yeah.
That's, I should add that to my list of, goals for 2022, get better at video games. So yeah, I mean, my future projects are obviously a lot with music coming up. So as mentioned, the song at the end of the film is written by me and my boyfriend. We have a band called Giveth, which is Giveth, Giveth. And we write a lot of like dark cinematic, industrial type music. And so we have a full album out now that you can find on like Spotify and Apple. And then we also are releasing more music in the coming year and a lot of videos. So super excited about that. And then I have another short film that I did called A Stranger in the Room that is running the festival circuit right now. And I'll be hearing more about that soon, but hopefully I'll be able to share that in the coming months.
Nice. Hopefully it's there. I think that a project needs to be done. I think Q needs to come back as the Duke and have a talk show, like one of those on Discovery Plus, like talk shows or something where he like interviews like, people going after killers and stuff. I thought that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, I'll be down. Yeah.
A few more Easter eggs. If you look at behind Brent on the wall, there is the actual horn from part 7.
Yeah.
Oh, I did notice when they had that, and then it's funny. It took me the second time to realize about the 8 ball. Like that was it. That is the thing. And there was another one I wanted to ask you about, and I can't.
Yeah, this one too.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
the Duke. Look what the Duke has.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got the pink hole donut box.
Pink dress, hot dogs, and donuts.
Yeah.
That's right. I did see that, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's definitely a touch." Like, there was one thing. So I know since the video games are a thing in there, I noticed, and this could be just me reading way too much into Easter eggs, but so I noticed that one spot there was a box of cassette tapes. Does that have anything to do with the video game with all like trying to find like the Tommy and Pamela tapes in the Friday the 13th video game?
Oh no, that's pretty cool though. No. If you
see, that's where my mind goes. I'm like,
that's nice.
So May 13th, 1988 was part 7. I figured they started interviewing her twice a week. 2 weeks later, if you actually do the numbers out all the way from then till June 13th of 1989, that's the exact session number they're at.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, shit.
See, now I got to watch it again. This is one of these ones you're going to have to
That's
keep
the level of
watching.
OCD we were dealing with on this film.
Yeah.
Pete
So
had it
much
all
detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I came in there thinking I'm going to be contributing because I'm such an awesome fan. And then Pete would pull me aside and be like, all right, check this out. I got this and I got this. And he's like, runs it through and explains it to me. And I'm just like, jaw open, like, oh my God, dude, you thought of everything. And, it's going to be my job to make sure that, we actually make, let's get all this in there, like as much as we can, because it's absolutely amazing how much thought you put into this. So yeah, it was a mega thing.
Yeah, there was one in there where the guy, I forgot that the main doctor that was interviewing the young Tina and in there, he mentions that like I guess his brother. I know that's got to be an Easter egg somewhere, right? When he says, "Oh, I hope she doesn't marry so and so" or something.
Mahoney Pete.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. You're like, catch that.
Yeah, but I didn't know who it was. Like I wasn't sure. I know it's got to be an Easter egg, right?
It's probably the hardest Easter egg to catch. So he goes, yeah, my sister's going to marry this FBI agent guy called Mahoney. If you remember part 9, when they blow up Jason, the camera goes to a first person view and the guy goes, oh, yeah, man, they're high five. He goes, great job, Mahoney. So that's who that is.
That's right. I knew it. I had a feeling it had to be one of those because I'm like, which movie had FBI in it? And that was the only one I could think, but I don't remember them yelling it, but I knew it was in it. Do I get half a point for that one?
Go back and watch it. Yeah, I'll give you another one. In the beginning, when Dr. Sykes goes in the room to get the Duke and he's arguing with the military, that was a much longer scene that we had to cut. If you look at the Duke's knife, it's the Fairbanks Sykes World War II knife. That's the same knife that became the dagger in part 9.
Oh my God, I did not see. I missed out. Of course, I get the most obscure one, but I can't get that one. That was like right there. Like, oh my God, I did.
I got another one.
Oh yeah, I want to hear it.
So when they're playing Garbage Pail Kids, he goes, I'll trade you my Melton Milton for your hot rod. Well, Melton Milton is a guy's face being pulled off, just like Caban's was.
That one's right.
And hot rod is Kelly Ellison Sanchez's forearm. She loves Roddy Piper. She has a hot rod tattoo on her arm.
Oh my God, you guys! I feel like this needs to be like you need to do a contest. Like if you get all 500 Easter eggs,
the scenes. It's gonna be behind the scenes.
Oh my God, I didn't even catch it. I think I saw the tattoo, but I don't think I registered it.
So the one of my favorite movies is The Crow, and in The Crow they shot a bullet down. They did a shot of a bullet with vodka. So I wanted to put that in my film. That's when when Kelly gets cut open, the bullet falls out last. But also that shot, we cut out the whole floor out of there and we put plexiglass. So we're doing the same shot as part 3 when the guy's doing the handstand and gets cut in half.
Oh yes, I did that. That I kind of caught that it was like the similarities, that I like that one too. That's another good gore. See, we gave them credit for like something extra by the Jason thing, but they really did like a million things to Amos guys. So yeah, you guys did a fantastic job. But yeah, no, I guess I'll wrap things up. I just thank you guys for coming on, because it's so great when we find a film that we love so much and get to talk to everybody about it, because this really was. I mean, I know I keep praising you guys, but it really, I mean, Tim will tell you, I mean, I like told him immediately after I saw this how he has to see this, how good it was, because it's just, I thought it had just everything that you could want in a Friday the 13th film, and it's definitely a perfect continuation, perfect fit into the timeline, and I think you guys all did just an amazing job.
Thank you
so much, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, Brian. Well, we keep getting fortunate with these interviews that are always just some of the best people, and
oh my God, you love these guys. They were so awesome.
And I love seeing how, I love when we do these interviews, because a lot of times when we do these interviews, it's a reunion for the cast of these movies.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I think we need to like just come up with a side business. We'll just like reunion.
Yeah, we
have everyone
cast
come on
reunions.
to chat.
Yeah, that's always fun to see. So yeah, I really appreciate those guys coming on and sit down and talking with us. And, we were kind of starting to get back into the interview mode. Like this was kind of tough because it was our first interview back for the new season, so we're a little cold, but we're getting back into it. We don't have a choice, Brian, because we got tons of good interviews coming up.
Yeah, we got a couple of things coming up. We'll kind of, I mean, one I think we hinted at already, but we're not going to mention anything quite yet. But we have two, one is a returning guest. I think we mentioned it. Well, that one we could probably mention. We have Emily Sweet coming back on. We're going to do a little round table with her,
which is more of a triangle table. We
with the triangle table, because it's true. But she's going to come on. We're going to do that thing we talked about with The Visitor, that movie, because basically I felt left out is what it is. I kind of forced this because I felt left out because Tim and Emily were talking about it when they saw it, and they were cracking up. So I'm like, all right, this is it. We need to do this as a round table. So we're going to have that coming up. I think that's the next episode after this one. And then we have, I think, one we have coming up. We're just not sure if it's exactly the last week of the last episode of January. I think it will be, if all goes well. And that one's a big one. And then we have one before that's definitely one I'm super excited about, because it's someone we reached out to that's a very unique. It's something someone type of person we've never interviewed, basically.
It's a hint. It's horror adjacent, and it's
horror adjacent.
It's somebody that does something that we've always wanted to have on the show, and we've never quite been able to land one yet. But
yes, and we've been a big fan of. Well, I was going to try and keep it very simple, but basically a fan of her stuff. So that gives you a little clue. Yeah. So maybe you'll be able to figure it out from that. But yeah, so we're very excited. We have a big, fun January ahead of us here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get right into our feature film, Roseblood, a Friday the 13th fan film. Came out this year and directed by Peter Anthony. And I'm going to try to get through all these names, guys. So bear with me. We got Laura Park Lincoln as Tina Shepard, reprising her role. Terry Kaiser reprising his role as Dr. Cruz. Kevin Spiritus as Nick.
Yeah, another reprisal that came out as a surprise.
Sine Lutzis as Rose.
Oh, I forgot to tell you something really interesting. She was also in Friday the 13th Vengeance. She played Tommy Jarvis's niece or something.
Oh, really? That's cool.
This is her second Friday the 13th fan film, actually.
How cool is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, she's got two good ones under her belt.
Jessica Hottman as young Tina Shepard, David E. McMahon as Dr. Frederick Sykes, Jason Brooks as Jason Voorhees, Tommy Lee Driver as Colonel Chase, Peter Anthony as General Brackbauer, Jequient Broaden, which I hope I got that name right. Oh, he let us call him Q on the interview. You heard us refer to him as Q, so hopefully he'll. But I wanted to give one shot at his name as the Duke. Joseph Caban as Julian Dominguez, and Todd Jenkins as Orderly Jenkins.
Yeah, and I don't know if you recognized him, but he was the, remember we had talked to him, he sent us a screener of Cherokee, oh my God, it was the one with the bachelor party, Bigfoot movie.
Oh, yeah.
Cherokee Creek, I think it was called. That was a really funny, and he's been in a couple of other horror stuff. He's got a good horror thing, so that was kind of fun to see him in there. I recognized him right away. I was like,
oh, that's nice.
I see. Yeah, you know what? It texts me, says 2021. So I watched it right before I watched it like late December, I think. So I apologize. It is 2021.
Okay, this takes place 13 months after Friday the 13th, Part 7, and we follow Tina Shepard as she is held and studied at the infamous Camp Crystal Lake Research Facility. Tina realizes that she is not alone. There, in fact, is another new blood, Rose.
First of all, you gotta love Camp Crystal Lake, the town. They have it's kind of like Riverdale in the Archie comics. They literally have one of everything.
Yes.
Have you noticed that? It's like they got a lake, they got a cruise line,
they got a research
camp,
facility,
a diner, 30 bars, a research facility. Yeah, no, gotta love the town of Crystal Lake. They got everything in there. I want a Crystal Lake theme park though. Got to see what that was all about.
Oh man, that would be really fun.
That and a water park, probably. I bet right on the lake there.
Yeah. So this one again, like I said, we watched a lot of fan films, and I've enjoyed most of the fan films I've seen, honestly, especially Friday the 13th, because just being such a big fan. But I was telling the guys after the interview, after we had stopped recording, that I was really impressed with what an original take they took with this one, because 7 is not one of the. I mean, it's a fan. You can find fans for every Friday the 13th sequel. Die Hard,
even Jason X,
yeah. But Friday the 13th 7 is not the one that immediately springs to mind as one that I would want to go after as a fan film. But I think in this case, it's such a perfect fit because there are so many unanswered questions with 7. Like, what happened to Tina? Like, where did this story go? And then to combine a young Duke backstory into it was super cool. So I just give them all the credit in the world, Peter, Anthony, all the credit in the world for taking a fan film, which is not just building off of, something we've already seen before, but actually putting in kind of an original story and kind of interweaving the lore to make it really, it's not just fan service. It's a true fan film for somebody who loves the movies, and I really, really like that.
Right. I wish we should have actually said that, and that's a great point. Because a lot of fan films try and do fan service.
Right.
There were some fan service moments, but it was a fan film. Like this was a good continuation. This was just not like taking characters and just throwing them in there for the sake of it.
Exactly.
They came up with a great story, and the fact that they combined, like I think I had this I think made the interview when I said this. What I thought was great was that he took some of the more unique Friday the 13th entries and kind of put them all into this one, which is great. Like you kind of have that FBI / and like army thing from Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell in there. They of course they put Part 7, which had the coolest protagonist in Tina, where she actually had like some special abilities, which would be the only thing that could possibly, really like someone truly to defeat Jason, would be for someone like that. And, there was basically, I was watching Part 7 again too, and you realize that, Tina had a lot of control over Jason to the point of where he couldn't, he almost couldn't deal with it, Mm-hmm. And of course, if you didn't have the great Kane Hodder portraying Jason at that point, you really saw that. But and so they doubled down on that and not to spoil the plot point, but you really see what Tina's powers can do in this entry. And I have to say, we didn't really touch on this as much as I would have liked to, but Jason Brooks, I guess, who played Jason in this, was phenomenal. He had the Kane Hodder mannerisms down to a T. The way he did those quick turns and like aggressiveness that you saw from Kane Hodder, there's just something where you can tell a Kane Hodder portrayal of Jason versus the other actors, and they all did Jason actors I give credit to, but obviously Kane Hodder added this special touch to it.
Yeah,
and this guy kind of got down the mannerisms, and as we discussed it with Peter, he you could tell that he went through leaps and bounds to make sure everything had the perfect touch to it, and everything had the right feel to it. But they weren't Easter eggs just for Easter egg's sake. They all kind of had little plot points. They all helped develop the characters if you were able to spot them, Yeah. And so I thought it was I just love this take on it because, it's a very interesting continuation because, you wonder like, you know, after you saw A New Blood, I don't know about you, after I saw that, I assumed, okay, no, so now he's going to come back. You know, there's going to be another one. He's going to come back and go after Tina again. And then, but in the theatricals timeline, you never hear from Tina again.
No, they just dropped it, and then they put in the god-awful Part 8.
Yeah, and then, which we found out there was a unique connection to that, which is a good Easter egg, but I'm not going to say. Oh, no, he says it on the interview, actually. He might have said it. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool things that, you know, he basically, not only did he continue Part 7, but he took into consideration the films after that and connected them all, which I thought was like really above and beyond what the average fan film will do.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm keeping this in, like, when I get my Blu-ray, because I'm gonna place on the IndieGoGo, I'm getting that Manifest edition they mentioned. I am going to totally put that in my Friday. So when I do a marathon watch after Part 7, I'm watching this and putting it in there in my lexicon. So Tim, let me ask you, what did you think some of the best like elements to this film that really like won you over for it?
I'm going to be brutally honest here, but you know, Brian and I watch a lot of indie films, we watch a lot of low budget films, we watch a lot of fan films, and the biggest flaw I see in the ones that I don't particularly like is pacing. Their pacing is off. They're slow paced. There's long pauses where it should have been edited tighter. I mean, you see that a lot in, you know, indie films and low budget films. And this one, you got none of that. And I was I was really kind of like taken aback when Peter said he really had no filmmaking experience. You know, this is kind of like just like a side little dream project of his, because it's what, like you said, we've already said, it's one of the better fan films I've ever seen in terms of that pacing and just the way it was cut together.
Yeah, and I don't even mean just Friday the 13th fan films. I'm
talking about the spectrum.
I meant like fan films in general. I mean, Friday the 13th fan films go as probably the top, but just in fan films in general, it was so done.
Yeah,
so well done.
And we talked about in the interview that, you know, Jason doesn't appear until an hour into the movie, and the fact that they could get away with that and you had not already turned it off is pretty amazing. So I was really impressed with the pacing, because that's something I pick up on very easily. I can lose interest very quickly in a movie if the pacing's off, and I just thought they did a fantastic job. And then when the pacing really kicks in, which is like the last half hour, oh my gosh, it is like insane. Like that last 30 minutes does not let up. It is just full speed ahead, and I like that about it.
You know what it's like? It's like when you're the best way to do it is if you're on like one of those like service side roads on a freeway or something. You know, you're going at a great pace, you're having the ride, and then when you finally get back on into the rain, you just go and you take off. That's what I felt like this was like. Like it was like a nice, you know, you're there's nothing wrong. You're just driving along. You're taking in what you get. And at this point, you're getting a great like side story. You're getting answers to questions you might not even have known you wanted to know. And next thing you know, Jason comes in, and it's like, as he said, balls to the walls. I mean, it's like brutal Jason. It's the Jason that you love to see in the movies. So it's great. And I guess we should quickly talk about too. We don't want to, because of course they have the amazing return of Lar Park Lincoln and Terry Kaiser, who have not missed a beat together. The chemistry there is perfection.
Yes, that was fun to see.
I mean, that was great. And then, but like, you know, now you're introducing some new characters, and, you know, you had someone like, you know, you have, of course, Q and Jessica, who are playing characters that are very popular in the Friday the 13th lore. So they had to play versions of those characters. So they had a bit of a challenge that maybe not everyone else who was in this movie had. And I had to say, they did an amazing job. I thought, Q as the Duke, man, he had the mannerisms, he had the inflection, he had the attitude. He was like, it's total what a young Duke would be like, you know, like, you know, there'd never be a time in his life where he'd be like timid or anything,
exactly.
You know?
Well, that goes with everybody in this movie. I thought, you know, again, going back to like we watch a lot of indie films, and you see a lot of inexperienced actors, and you could tell they're inexperienced. And I just did not pick up on that in this movie at all. Like, everybody, I thought, did a fantastic job.
You know, and Jessica had to, like, you know, she's like trying, you know, she had to, like, in a different and like even a bigger challenge, she literally had the original actress in the same film with her.
Yeah.
So she had to like, it's not like you just like, the Duke people maybe, okay, if you haven't seen Jason Goes to Hell in a while, okay, yeah, maybe you don't see as good as a job as he did in there. But like with Jessica, you had to see like, you just saw Laura Park Lincoln returning in the role, and now you're having a different actress play her. And I thought she nailed it. She had those like the look that she used to get, when like the powers were happening, that like the calm to tenseness that Laura Park did. So yeah, I mean, Jessica and Q, I mean, they really stepped up to play these characters, to bring back these characters that everyone loved. And I thought that was a really strong point, because that could have been bad if that didn't work out right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was great. And then even the new character, we loved the character of Julian, who played, who I was so excited when I kind of said that, and they told me that's exactly how they wrote it. Like the character, the one that the machete,
yeah,
that Danny Trejo played in the Halloween, Rob Zombie Halloween, because that's what I totally got. It was like he was like this really like kind of a, you could tell he's a bit of a tough guy, but he's like got a really good heart, and he wants to protect, and like instead of protecting Michael, they were protecting Tina and Rose. So it was really, I like that character. It was really good. Of course, no spoiler now because we mentioned about his face, but what happens to it in one of the better kills in the movie. But yeah, I just thought, I think they give you everything you'd want in a Friday the 13th film, pretty much.
Yeah.
Get little like funny couple of comic lines. You get you get Jason going off on everybody, and you get some good characters. So yeah, I mean, we always we like to always help recommend films that we love so much. But this one definitely, I think, is one you just need to, I mean, especially now, it's on YouTube. You can just watch it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to buy it, even though they have a great IndieGoGo if you want to own the Blu-ray, which of course I just did right before we got to recorded this segment. I went and actually delayed us between the interview because I was logging into my IndieGoGo account to make sure I donate, because they have special versions of the movie. So I wanted to get the Manifest edition, as we mentioned in there. I'm me. Anything that says something in front of edition is pretty much going to have me sold. So I think the Manifest edition comes with some extra footage and the soon to be shot music video. So I'm like, all right, I got to have it all. So, but check it out on YouTube. We'll of course put the link in the show notes for you guys to check this out, because this is definitely one that will not disappoint, and you will absolutely love this, I think, if you're a Friday the 13th fan.
Yep. Well, let's get to it. We mentioned on our after our interview, we told the guys that they would get their own beer pairing. So I'm excited for this because Brian found the perfect one for this movie.
Yes. Believe it or not, I found a beer called Rose Blood, and it's actually with the space in it. So it's like not like Rose Blood, like like one word. It's Rose Blood, like it is in the movie, and it's from Backpedal Brewing out of Portland, Oregon. The only thing is I could not find, because their site was down, or it wasn't created properly. I don't know, but so I couldn't get the ABV on it, but I did get a description off of Beer Advocate, and it's a farmhouse ale, and it's saison tart saison with loads of hibiscus for a deep red color. There's the rose blood there, and an earthy floral tea flavor, conditioned on a bit of lime and a touch of sweet cherry to round out the edges. So now you can go out, if you're in Portland, Oregon, go grab this beer, log onto YouTube, watch this amazing fan film.
Yeah, that's a type of beer I have not had a lot of experience with.
Oh, farmhouse owned saisons.
Yeah, now.
Oh well, see, you know why? Okay, so they're really. I know there's a ton that we get in like when we go to Maine and Vermont area.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, and Long Island actually, because there's a lot of farms on Long Island. So there's a lot of those kind of farmhouse saisons. So it's one of the ones I really like. It's good, like relaxing, lighter beer. So but it's got a ton of flavor to it.
Yeah, you don't see those. You don't really see those down here a lot outside of. Unless you go actually to a brewery that does them, or you have, like the beer festivals. That's where I've had most of mine, are at the beer fests.
Oh, okay. There's one I think you'll absolutely love. I will make sure next time we get together, I'll grab one and bring it out to you, because they usually sell it locally. So
yeah, now we do have a brewery in town that does nothing but sours, which I was kind of.
Oh, really? Where is that? I got to tell. I have some friends that that's their main beer is sours.
Yeah, that's another. Genre of beer that I haven't really delved deep into, but yeah, they opened up. I think it's a division of another brewery that's here in Wilmington, but this place is called the Sour Barn, and they just do sours, So I really want to hit that.
Well, I know. I mean, Wilmington has two great breweries already that I know of with New Anthem and Edward Teach. So I need to come back there and hit Edward Teach. We did do New Anthem when we were there with you, but we need to come back when we come back next time. You need to take us to Edward Teach.
Yeah, well, we got Flying Machine. We've got tons of good breweries here. All right, so let's get to our triple threat from last week. It was so long we had done. Cody was like stumped on this one, and we couldn't even remember what the answer was.
Yeah, I know. I was stumped remembering what she was talking about because I'm like, wait a minute, what was the last one? Because I forgot.
Yeah.
But then I looked back and I said, oh, I see why she got.
So we were looking for an actor or actress, and the answer was Margot Kidder, and Cody got this one. She finally got this one.
I gave her a little bit of a hint, but still.
Clue number 1. While I've been in several well-known horror movies, I may be best known for my role as a reporter. And of course, Margot played Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
Who was, remember Cody had a guess. April O'Neil. She thought it was April O'Neil actress. She kept saying.
Yeah.
Which is a good guess. I mean.
Yeah. Clue number 2, I starred in the original film that had not one but 2 remakes, and of course she starred in the original Black Christmas, which had 2 remakes.
One okay and one.
Yeah, one I only could. I don't even consider the last one a remake. Honestly, I consider it a movie that shares the same title only.
Yeah, really. And you know what? We're not the only ones that feel that way. That is a very, very poorly received film.
Clue number 3, I once starred in a film in which the main location may not have wanted me there. This is reference to Margot's role in the Amityville Horror, in which the house told the Lutz family to get out.
Yeah, I thought that was clever wording. Very clever.
So this week we're looking for another actor or actress. So listen carefully. Here are your clues. Clue number 1, I have appeared many times as a host of Saturday Night Live, but it was my first time that rewarded me with a specific distinction. Clue number 2, I have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, as does 3 of my other famous relatives. And clue number 3, after learning of a specific legal process in a film role I had, I partook in that process 6 years later in real life.
So I went really obscure.
This one's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's a very gettable
one. Oh, yeah, it's very... It actually is not that hard to find.
No.
Probably to research it to figure it out pretty quickly, but...
Yeah. All right, so Cody had a great question for our fan topic food question of the week. And this one, I'm going to be honest, Cody, I didn't have time to really prepare the way I wanted to. But she asked us to rank some other movie franchises that are not horror. For example, just an example, like how would you rank all the Ernest movies, or how would you rank all the vacation movies? So I thought that was an interesting question because it is truly off topic, which is kind of fun to do.
This is the very spirit of this question, kind of.
Yeah. So, Brian, if you want to go first, I don't know if you've got something in mind.
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. So I think I decided I had a couple of ideas. I mean, she gave us the vacation one, but I figured, well, I don't want to do that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Superman films. I originally was going to do just the Christopher Reeve ones. I don't know if that should count, or just should I do all the technically Superman films in the modern day that includes the, Superman Returns and the DC ones. I don't know. Would you think it's appropriate to just do the Christopher Reeve ones as part of a...
Well, I was thinking of, for some of my franchises I was thinking of, I was only going to do, I didn't want to necessarily do an exhaustive list of every single... I kind of like the idea of just doing the Christopher Reeve ones, because I think that's like... I think you're allowed to pick a subset. Like the vacation movies, I wouldn't count Christmas Vacation 2, which was like a direct-to-video thing.
That was like a TV movie. Okay. Well, then that is really simple to me. For my Superman ones, it goes Superman 2, Superman 3, and Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
That one's very easy.
Which, if I could make that number 5, I would. Then put in Superman Returns goes ahead of that one, but and I know it's funny. So I know Superman 3 gets a lot of bashing as well, but it actually does have some great moments in it, and I think as a plot, the movie was great. It was just executed weird. I think it was marketed they went too, you put Richard Pryor in there. Of course, you're going to go on the comedy, but I think they let the comedy drive it just a little bit more. But if you think down at Superman 3 as a plot point, it's actually a great plot to it if you think about it. You know, like you got a computer, and it still has one of the most frightening scenes in any superhero movie ever.
Yes.
When Vera, the sister, gets attacked by the computer, and she gets sucked in.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we talked about with David Weiner about that too. Remember how creepy that is?
I think everybody that saw that movie when they were a kid has to have had some kind of mental trauma from that scene.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, Superman 2 is always my favorite because I love Zod and Ursa and Non. You know, and like my friend Mark and I, we must quote Superman 2, like, to ridiculous levels of these, like with certain lines, like, and he goes, like, one of my favorite, like the one of I think the most quoted in that was is when Terrence Stamp, who made like Zod like one of the best villains ever, when Lex Luthor's talking to him and he's telling him, he's yelling at him, and he goes, well, why do you say these things to me when you know I will kill you for it? And you know, just Terrence Stamp does it in that lilty, perfect, like monotone way. You know, and it's just like some of the other lines he says, like you know, like when Ursa's like, did you see what I did? Look at the powers I have. And it's like, we all have them, my dear. It's just like Terrence Stamp is so perfect, and that's what makes, to me, Superman 2 like one of my favorite movies ever. The Donner cut of it wasn't as like, it was just made it awkward, I think, because you have to kind of the Donner cut. You can't just watch that one. You have to watch it with the new version of the first one.
Yeah.
So, and I know, yeah, you know, and I know Superman 2, you know, even though everyone loves it so much, there were some weird issues with it. Like, they went back and they had to film that, like, whole Paris sequence different. But Superman 2, to me, was like, I mean, like, I can't even tell you how many times I've watched that movie. And I love the first one, too. I think the Christopher Reeve Superman, especially 1 and 2, are two of the best superhero movies, like, ever. I just absolutely love them. I grew up with them. You know, I saw them both in the theater. I still remember like how much I like how awe-struck I was watching those, you know, in the theater. And you know, and the 3 had like the lines too. Robert Vaughn actually was cracking me up too, and he's like, I asked you to kill Superman, and you can't do that one simple task. It's like the villains in it are so like great. Of course, the biggest disappointment was that, like, you know, of course, Margot Kidder was reduced to a very small role in that. She did come back in 4, but this 4 was just, oh my God, it was like. Again, it was like a decent plot, I guess, you know, and the only reason they got Christopher Reeve to come back was because it was going to spend that, like, you know, nuclear disarmament message. But the problem was with that whole, like, you know, Mark Pillow's character and that whole, like, nuclear man plot point was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was so campy.
My God. And what's worse is it could have been worse. There was a deleted scene that would have made this thing even, like, unwatchable. But they were like where they like there was a first attempt at the nuclear man, and he basically just looked like some drunk guy walking into like things in the town with like weird music playing and everything. You could watch it. I have that really amazing Superman Blu-ray set that had all the movies and Supergirl and everything in it. Like, it had all the different like variations, all the deleted scenes. It was really a great set. So anyway, yeah. So that deleted scene on that, it just, oh my God, it made Superman Quest for Peace just even more abysmal than it was. But yeah. So I mean, to me, that's the pretty easy one. Like I said, it's like 2 and 1 flip flop just because I love Zod, Non, and Ursa to so much, and then but like it's an edge just because like the first one was like a near perfect film as well. Like, I mean, it was just a perfect origin story of a superhero. And then 3 comes in, and then 4, which is like distant as you can get from the rest of them. But yeah, so I think that was a pretty easy one, but also one that I'm gonna stop now because I could talk about the Christopher Reeve Superman films forever. So I will defer now to you for your choice.
Well, I'm going to do one that's slightly harder. I'm going to do the Terminator movies because my son has been watching. Well, he has watched all the Terminator films.
Oh, that's right. Did you look up the video game?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I went and watched a playthrough of it actually, which was pretty fun. But yeah, so Joshua's been watching all of the. Well, he said he's already watched them all over Christmas break. He watched all the Terminator movies and both seasons of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, or it might have been 2 or 3 seasons. I can't remember. Which was a great TV show. I love that series.
I almost forgot about it.
Yeah, that was a great series. But I'm very familiar with these movies, having watched them all recently. So I'm going to rank them. Should I go in like best to worst or worst to best? I don't know. What do you think?
I did best to worst.
Okay,
so.
well, I'll go in the same order then. So first of all, got to be Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is one of those, when you hear about people say sequels that are better than the original, you often hear Terminator 2 come up in the conversation. That's pretty widely spread. Now, I will say, when I rewatched Terminator 2, it's, I guess, maybe kind of showing its age. Like, I don't know if I loved it as much as an adult as I did when it came out as a teenager, because you start seeing some of the flaws and stuff in it. But still think at the time it came out, it was absolutely incredible. That movie blew the doors off of everything. So I think we're kind of spoiled today because we see so many action films and we've seen stuff so over the top, we've kind of almost become desensitized to it. But when this came out, this was a crazy action film. So you kind of have to look back at it with your 1991 eyes and not your 2021 eyes. So Terminator 2, my number one pick. Next up, has to be the original Terminator, just because it's the original and just the sheer fact that it established the franchise. That's just got to be number two, because if it can't be number one, it's got to be number two. The third one might be a surprise pick for some people, but I went with Dark Fate, which was the most recent entry, which is 2019. I really like this movie.
I loved it.
I liked it. I know that it has its detractors, but I thought they did a smart move rebooting the franchise and just ignoring everything but the first two. It was almost like they did a kind of a Halloween type reboot where they just said, okay, well, we're going to pick the two movies that we're going to keep canon, and then we're going to do this one. And then you had, Arnold Schwarzenegger's back, Linda Hamilton's back. I mean, Linda Hamilton's a total badass in this movie. Well, not that she's not in every movie, but she's older now, like legitimately in real life older, and is still a badass, which I love seeing. So I love Terminator Dark Fate. I thought it was fantastic. So that gets an easy number 3 spot. Above, number 4, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. And, Terminator 3, after rewatching it, it's not as bad as I remembered it. I think a lot of people remember it poorly because it was not Terminator 2.
I was just going to say, that Terminator 3, if you watch it, for what it is, it's fine. It's fine entry to the film. It's good.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
The problem is after you see Terminator 2, and now you're expecting that to be topped.
Right, yeah.
Which is
hard.
It
does not, it doesn't in any way top Terminator 2, but it's not terrible. It's not a bad movie.
But they also switched a character that always tends to kind of Nick Stahl was fine, but Edward Furlong was enjoyable as John Connor, and so to now swap him and not have him be in it.
Yeah, it was. I could see why it derailed people. I think it's one of those that looks better in hindsight though than it did when it came out, for sure. Coming in at the number 5 spot, I will have to put Terminator Genisys, which I actually like this one more than probably the number 5 spot deserves, but I can't place it above any of the other ones. That's the only reason I got it number 5. I don't hate it though, and I like Emilia Clarke and Arnold Schwarzenegger's back in it, so I don't really dislike this one as much as a lot of the critics disliked it.
Yeah, I thought that one was good too. You know what it was? It was I think it was I really liked what it tried to do. It had a very difficult task of trying to reboot it and change everything, with but still trying to keep the Terminator lore to it, and I think that the fact that they keep getting Arnold back for him is key, because I think if they ever took him out of it and replaced him with somebody else, I wouldn't even bother to see it.
I thought the younger Sarah Connor thing was kind of cool. I don't know. I just thought that.
No, I liked that it was different. I mean, it's you can't keep doing the same. You gotta vary it up. You gotta. I really respect the kind of the way they did it. Now, granted, I definitely like Dark Fate better because I like going back to the original group. You realize, well, okay, I really like it. But you're right. Something's got to be 5, right?
Exactly. What are you going to place it over? I can't place it over.
You can't.
I can't place it over 1 or 2 or Dark Fate. So
Yeah. I mean, 3 is the only one that possibly some people might say, well, you could do that. But even then, it's like 3 is not as bad as everyone.
No, yeah, having
it
watched them recently, I could. It was a clear call that you had to put Terminator 3 slightly above it, slightly.
Yeah.
And then the last one, of course, I put Terminator Salvation because this is the one. Now I love Christian.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I mean, this got a huge. It's got Christian Bale. It's got Bryce Dallas Howard, Helena Bonham Carter. I mean, it's got a big cast, but this one I didn't like because it takes all the time travel stuff out. It's just basically John Connor in the future, and I just didn't like that. Like, to me, I don't even like the parts in the the other Terminator movies where it's all in the future. Like, I don't like the whole battle with Skynet thing. It doesn't interest me. I mean, I like it as a plot point, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time there. You know what I mean? I like more of a...
Well, yeah, because most of them are about trying to prevent.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to spend time there.
Why are you there?
I don't want to spend time.
Then you take away the heart and the excitement of the other films. All the other ones are trying to prevent that from happening. You know, to get little pieces of it, to get the feel of it, is what you need. So, I mean, but granted, again, you know, you figure, okay, they got to do something different, but I don't think it... I think it's one of those things where it's like you kind of almost had to experiment with it to try it something drastically different. It just now it didn't work.
But I will say, you know, watching these movies back through Joshua's eyes as a kid, he doesn't have the baggage that I have of growing up with these movies, and then a disappointing sequel comes out, and then you're bummed about it, and then you have to wait years for another sequel, and you have high hopes, and then that one doesn't turn out great. He doesn't have any of that baggage. He's just watching it as a kid. He doesn't know which ones are good and which ones are bad and which one's supposed to be better than the other one. He's just...
they're probably all good
he's just watching the story.
Yeah.
So he loved all of them. And it was so cool seeing, like, even some of these ones that I had kind of forgotten about, like Salvation or Genesis, that I haven't seen in a while, and kind of watching them with fresh eyes as he watched them and going, you know what? None of these are terrible. They're all fun in their own way. They're all, you know, they got action. They're popcorn movies. You know, and there's good things you could take out of each of them. So I really, really had a great time rewatching those.
Well, yeah, and that's a good point because you got to remember, right? So the Terminator, the original one, it's a complete like B movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like a movie that could have easily just been like shuffled off as a one-off.
Yeah,
right. But you know, it was great, and I remember seeing it on cable, and I thought it was one of my favorite films ever. I thought it was so cool. I mean, it had this awesome guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like as this like killer robot, and you know that was like essentially like undefeatable, and it was, you know, it had that element of like, holy crap, how do you beat this thing, you know? And it was really cool. Although being at like a B movie level, it was still amazing, right? I mean,
yeah.
Listen, we're horror fans. That doesn't, like, being a B movie does not detract, right?
Not at all.
And then think about it. So we loved it. I mean, as a kid, I mean, it was like it had everything you wanted. It had boobs. I mean, come on. You know, what else could you want as a young teen watching Terminator, right? Then think about it. We didn't get Terminator 2 for another, like, 7 years.
We grew up, like...
So we, like, in our head, we, like, lived for 7 years with this thing. And then they come out with this, like, when effects were, the morphing technology, when they like, the effects, these brand new effects we were going to see, this morphing technology, these elaborate set pieces, explosions, like money that was, you'd never imagine possessing in your life being spent on, like, one scene, you know? And then we get this, like, true... Like, if someone tells you what's a blockbuster movie, I mean, that's like should be in the dictionary. Like, that is a blockbuster.
Yeah, I remember when that was so
every sense of the word.
big. And I saw this 91. I was in high school, so I was like I was old enough to really appreciate, and I was going to the movies all the time. So this was a huge deal when Terminator 2 came out. I was telling Joshua about when we were.
Remember the trailer? That was one of the best.
Yeah, when me and Joshua were watching it, I was like, Joshua, this movie was really important. And I was telling him, I was like, you know, you had some of the first really good use of CGI. And I was showing him how, you know, all that morphing and stuff. I was like, this is the first time people had ever seen this. I was like, to you, this is primitive. But you got to imagine, this was the first time we had ever seen this on screen. And it blew us away. And I was like, and as far as action goes, I was like, they didn't have, I mean, there was action movies, but not at this scale. I mean, this was big stuff in this. He was really interested though. He loved hearing me talk about why it was important to film history and stuff. I thought it was neat seeing him appreciate it on my level as much as I was appreciating it on his level.
Yeah, no, and it, and it's like as home collectors too, Tim. Like this had, as we are, this had a very unique distinction. It was so popular. This movie is the first R-rated movie that came home priced for sale on video, where you could get it day and date of a home release. You could actually go buy it. Like for like a normal price.
Wow, yeah.
Remember VHS, like kids today don't realize that there was a time where you could not just go to buy a movie on the day it came home. You'd have to rent it for the first like 6 months before it became affordable to the person. Like you pay $90.
Yeah, like they were priced for the video stores, so you'd have to pay $90 for a VHS copy, or you get lucky and like one of the video stores, after it had run for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months, they put them on sale, and you could get one maybe a little cheaper. But yeah, it was a very different world back then from just being able to log on and rent it for $4 online.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I remember like you'd get like those I remember when like someone had a bootleg of Empire Strikes Back before you could get it. I remember, but like it was always like the tracking would be off on the Hoth scenes because it was not remastered on a VHS. So
it was crazy.
Like on the thing, it's like they don't understand what we went through. It's like having to wait to see something. For tons of that, and there was definitely like pay-per-view was in its infancy then.
I loved. I saw a Facebook meme the other day, and they said, "Kids today don't understand that when we missed a show, we just missed it forever."
Yeah, I mean, like you would, because even like VCRs were like, you could record it then, but you could record one show. So like, there were times you actually had to give up.
I remember missing. I had to be somewhere or something, and there was a show I really wanted to watch, and if you weren't home to watch it, you just you would never get to see it ever.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I think we're just destined to miss things in the world, because think about it. Because everyone now complains like, oh, the kids have too much content. They never go outside anymore, and they're like, because they have everything streamed. But back then, it's like everyone was outside and you were missing stuff. So it's like, now that you still miss something, you missed all the inside.
Yeah,
stuff.
we just missed. We just missed all the inside stuff. They're missing the outside. We missed the inside.
Yeah, they're missing the outside. We missed the inside. No, there was like one brief period for about 6 months, I think, where it combined and the world was perfect. But and the other thing too is like, remember, it's like even back then when things were on pay-per-view and cable, you didn't have on demand, you didn't have streaming, so you still could miss something. Even if it played it 7 times on HBO in a day, you had to be there at the right spot. You still miss it.
It's funny.
It's funny. Yeah, it really was. The kids don't realize how amazing like we lived. I mean, like our period of time is like we saw like literally the most unique time period, I think, our age group, because we remember like we like saw literally the birth of cable to the point of what it's now, where like we saw the birth of like the cellular,
the birth of internet.
Now literally. Well, I was listening to the your buddy there, Jeff Tucker, on 91 Reasons, where they were. It was an episode, I guess he did at one of the conventions, where he was talking about what in Back to the Future actually came true, and like some of the ones he was saying, like, oh my god, I didn't even realize that. Yes, that's right. Like he was talking about the scene where he's like, hey, can you thumb $100 for to donate to the clock, to whatever the clock tower, I guess, thing was at the point. And I'm like, and he's like, think about it. How many times have you done that on your iPhone when you need the thumbprint?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like to confirm it. Now it's face, but still, for a while it was literally that you'd put your thumb on and it would recognize, and you'd order something from iTunes. So it's like, and they were just doing all these amazing things. And like they said, like one of the ones that like another one that like totally didn't know is even, I think the guy he had a Chris Gore on, and they said like the one where Biff gets arrested, it's a drone camera taking his picture. And like, how many times have you seen that?
Yeah.
Now? where like you get big group photos. We had that at my work a couple of years ago when they wanted a team photo. They actually had a drone camera go over so they could get us all in one shot.
That was a great episode, though. I really liked
that was a great. Yeah, if you guys don't listen to 91 Reasons, definitely listen to it. Anyway, it's a great thing. But like that episode particularly was fun because it's like Jeff Tucker at his best because he's such a pop culture extraordinaire that. Like he loves Back to the Future, and it's so amazing some of the stuff he recalled on that. I'm like, oh my god, I thought I was like the attention to detail on these movies, but he like brought it to just a whole new level. And actually, there's one he missed, and Chris Gore got with the Scenery Channel. He's like, no, they have that on YouTube.
Yeah. I've got it on my new TV has that. It's got an actual Samsung scenery channel, and it shows different fireplaces and stuff. It's like Fireplace 4K, and it's like various fireplaces that come up. It's really cool.
Well, yeah, and they did point out that, like, remember the Yule log that used to be like on like channel 11 near me, where it literally was like from 9 to 11, you just watch a fireplace. Now think about that, coming home, canceling your Christmas plans to watch a fireplace, which I've done. So, it's like you wonder, right? But yeah, I guess we'll wrap things up now. But what a fun episode, and it inspired us too, because Friday the 13th we grew up with.
Yeah, exactly. So again, we thank everybody who came on for that fantastic interview. We hope you guys go out and check out Roseblood on YouTube and check out their IndieGoGo. We'll put all the links and stuff in the show notes for you, and we'll see you back here next week for another really fun episode.
See ya.